Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your friendly neighborhood government assassin hosts.
I am John.
And I'm CC. And when there's just too much cool anime to watch, we've got you covered. It's getting colder, it's getting rainy, and a couple of storms are brewing in the anime landscape. You know what that means. It's fall season. And with that comes a barrage of new anime premieres we will tackle in the sneak peek in a couple of moments. And after that, we will join a couple of human weapons, lethal and non-lethal respectively, to protect their city with the help of a questionable system in Lycoris Recoil. So grab your non-lethal gun that somehow still causes blood spray, load up your rubber bullets that leave holes in solid steel for some reason, and definitely, under any circumstances, be they life or death, do not pause the pod. We'll be right back. Alright, yes, here we are in the sneak peek. Of course, as usual, with every new season, we have to take a look at all the different premieres of continuing seasons of new series and tell you our 2 cents about it. So we checked out about 1, 2, 3 episodes of each show that we were interested in. Exception from that is the 2nd season of To Your Eternity, since that is airing in like 3 days from the time of that recording, and we didn't want to wait any longer for that. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a keeper for both of us, so stay tuned for at least one of us to talk about it eventually. I also will probably watch the 4th season of Yowamushi Pedal, but I haven't checked it out yet, and I don't know if I will review it at all. I mean, I've talked about the show before, and I don't know how much I can say about it. If it's gonna be something, it's gonna be a quick review. So I just want to mention that it exists, and you can and should check it out if you like yourself some good sports anime action like I do. All right, since I think I have the only nope in this conversation, explanation for first-time listeners, of course, as usual, we have our 3 sections: the nopes, the maybes, and the keepers. Nopes shows, respectively, that we took a look at and determined that we would not keep on watching them. The maybes shows we might keep on watching, and the keepers shows that we will probably, most certainly, keep on watching, unless there are some wild swerves that put us off. But yeah. So, let's start with my first and only nope. Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
It's fine, John. Like, it's
But
okay.
you know what? The game still exists.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's been ages.
One of these days I'll play.
Yeah, I mean, it's been ages since I played Legend of Mana. I never finished that game. But Secret of Mana is one of my absolute favorite games of all time, and I like Trials of Mana a lot too, so I'm not unfamiliar with the Seiken franchise. And I thought this was just a promotion vehicle for the recent remaster of the game, but it's actually the other way around. The passionate pitch for an anime adaptation is actually what led to the existence of the remaster. They did a decent job of adapting like the filigree original character designs from the games for the anime, but I don't think I'm pretty sure I will not watch this, that's why it's a nope, because the direction is pretty weird, as I guess is par for the course for a lot of game-to-anime adaptations. Like, the first episode throws a bunch of characters at you without telling you anything interesting about them. It doesn't really show you anything eye-catching about the world either, Mana Tree aside, of course. When they reveal a new area, like you can do in the game, it's weirdly blurry and low-res CG, like they copy-pasted it out of an old game FMV or something. I'd have to rewatch like the reveal animations from the PSX game if they actually just try to upscale it and copy-paste that. Which might be the case, but it was super weird and looked bad. And the first episode just ends with what I guess is supposed to be a cliffhanger, but it doesn't feel like one. It's just a strange thing that is all over the place and seems to mainly struggle with forcing the loose game story into a cohesive anime narrative. So one might say a normal anime adaptation of a video game, like I said, doesn't seem like this one is breaking the cursed mold, which is a bummer, but I won't lose any sleep over it. I'm just not gonna watch it. It's like, hey, okay, I'll just play the game again.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't check it out, but I was, interested to be like, oh, hey, people really love Legend of Mana, and it's one of those games I started playing 100 million years ago
Hmm.
and didn't never really finish it. From what I recall, I don't know how much they changed for the remaster, but I remember with the original, there was some real cryptic stuff in there. Like you basically had to lay out the map in a specific way, otherwise you wouldn't get certain events or certain things done.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You
I don't know
can't.
if they changed that for the
I
remaster.
don't think so. I think you still have to play that game with an FAQ, or you're fucked because you're gonna miss out on complete story content like easily.
Like,
Like if you don't give like meet a certain character in a specific place and time and say the specific word, then you're missing out on huge chunks of the plot apparently, which is ridiculous. But I mean, like that's what FAQs are for. It's still maybe that's why the game kind of didn't have the main like success that the two other Mana games had, and where it's like this is really impenetrable for some people. So
And the Mana series is weird because they keep remaking the first one, and none of the remakes are really that good.
no.
Secret of Mana's remake was at best. I just remember friends telling horror stories of tons of crashes. Trials of Mana remake is really good. Still haven't finished it, but I
No
really enjoyed
co-op
what I played.
though. Like what? Why is there no co-op in a fucking co-op? Like
Yeah,
mm,
I don't know what to say on that.
mm.
Secret of Evermore exists.
No, that's not technically a second game. It's like was done by Squenix USA, and just for some reason they used the same name. Just I don't know to goad people into actually buying the game who liked Secret of Mana. I don't know. I liked Secret of Evermore, but it was a completely different game aside from some mechanics. But it looked completely different. It had a completely different tone to it. Everything you couldn't play it with together with your friend, and yeah, it was.
Didn't you have a dog companion though?
You did, which is why I liked it a lot. But I assumed that your buddy could play the dog, or whoever, and that wasn't the case. Like, you could only play that in single player.
Yeah, there are lots of mana games. God, Secret, Trials, Legend, Sword, Children, Friends, Dawn, Heroes, Circle, Rise, Echoes. There's no shortage of this series.
Yeah, I heard, aside from the first three, second games, I heard good things about Dawn, but I've never checked it out. So, and all the
Dawn
other
of Mana.
stuff.
Dawn of Mana was cool.
Yeah, so I've heard. I need to check it out eventually. Maybe they'll do a remake of that. I'd be interested, unless
Maybe they'll
it's
do that after they finish doing the Saga series.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I just hope it's not one of those. Hey, we made a mobile game. Let's use the assets from that, like we did in the fucking Secret of Mana 1 remake.
This is a video game podcast.
Yes, it's now a video game podcast. We spun it off. We didn't tell you about it, dear listeners, but now we're just gonna talk about video games for the rest of the sneak peek, and then we're just gonna stop. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, Sean, what is your first maybe?
Akiba Maid War.
Oh wow, that sounds like a John show.
So I went into this show thinking, hey, okay, this is going to be because it's PA Works.
Oh, okay. Well, then at least definitely looks good.
So I was like, at least it's going to look good, even if I don't like it. I can at least say that. So the first episode centers around this girl Nagomi making her trip to Akihabara to start her new job in a maid cafe, Cafe Tone Toko Tone, which has been translated by the good folks at High Dive as Oinky Doink Doink. They all have little pig ears and tails because.
All right.
And one day, Nagomi and this very sour girl, Ranko, are tasked with going out to one of the other maid cafes to deliver a message. And it's this message that, like, F you, we're going to be, unknowing to them that F you, we're going to be the top dogs in town. And they get jumped by them. And Ranko, very casually, pulls out her strap and shoots them all dead.
What?
Yeah, so this turned into an action show very quickly. It went from 0 to 100 pretty much instantly.
Wow, okay.
The funniest gag in the first episode is that before going to this other cafe, Nagomi and Ranko stop to get something to eat because their boss gives them some money to get some ramen. And Nagomi has this like this smock, this bib, this big bib smock thing on. And nobody says anything about it. It's not addressed. They get to the maid cafe and it gets splattered with blood. And out of nowhere, Nagomi is like, oh, I never took the smock off. Well, that's good for the dress. So I'm like, I'm glad you finally addressed it, but was this the time? The show is wild, dude. Like, I didn't know Akiba Maid War. What do you think about the name? Okay, yeah, sure. It's about maids in Akihabara. Did you expect there to be shootouts in blood spray all over the place? I bet you didn't.
No.
It's wild, and I'm a couple episodes in so far. I definitely want to see where it goes from there because I want to know how high the escalation goes.
Sure sounds like a fun time and also, an unexpected concept.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is very bloody, I can assume. Like, if you said
yeah, I mean...
But it's not grim. It's like very tongue-in-cheek and, I don't know.
I don't know how tongue-in-cheek it is. I mean, in the first episode when Ranko caps the first girl that she does, there is a fountain of blood that shoots out of her head not once, not twice, 3 times.
All right.
It's stupid. The show's ridiculous. But
sounds great.
I want to see where it goes.
All right.
So what do you got next?
Speaking about ridiculous, Blue Lock.
Oh.
A series that asks the very important question. What if Kaiji/Squid Game but soccer?
That's the concept?
That is the concept.
I knew it was about soccer, but...
Yeah, so our main character Isagi and 299 other soccer players are invited to the special training facility called Blue Lock that is supposed to turn them into top-of-the-world players. The twist? All of them are forwards, and only one of them will, quote-unquote, survive this grueling trial. Like, the man behind this whole thing, a creepy tech bro named Ego Jinpachi, has devised a very biased and arbitrary system, his words, not mine, to turn one of those U18 forwards into the world's best striker. A true egoist who doesn't give a shit about his team and only cares about scoring as many goals as possible. So a true treasure of a person.
As you do.
Yeah. And the stakes are high. Like, whoever loses in one of the several fucked up minigames Jinpachi has come up with basically has their career killed and will never play for the Japanese team ever. Like, any of them.
Wow.
Like, the drama, the thrills, the action. The show has it all. This is, the crazy dumb shit I love to see in sports anime, at least occasionally. And the show takes its premise incredibly seriously, but at the same time is very tongue-in-cheek. The coach and team crying over dramatically because the third years are leaving. Isagi's hyper-oblivious parents. Like, they're real dumb fucks. A couple of kids being scared because Isagi talks to himself on the street. Like, those scenes are a riot. I laughed a lot more in the first episode than I expected. And a lot of those jokes seemed intentional. Like, the show definitely knows what tone it's going for, and I'm here for it. I just hope the contest stays varied enough and we actually learn something about the characters. The animation is pretty great too, and I like the character design. So, yeah, there's a manga adaptation. I don't know if the manga is still running, but it seems to be pretty successful. And this is definitely some fresh wind I needed or I love to see in the sports anime genre. So this is crazy bullshit, and yeah, I want to see more.
Nice.
Yeah, seems like a lot of fun. John, what is your next maybe?
Urusei Yatsura.
I intended to maybe check this out, but I was like, it's a classic, and I haven't seen the original, but it's a comedy, And it's a loud comedy. It's a Rumiko Takahashi comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God, I'm looking at it right now. The original manga was 78 and the original anime was 81. So it's been a minute since Urusei Yatsura, I think, was really talked about. Because I mean, I never watched the original. I had seen like clips of it here and there, but when I saw that, David Production was heading this one up, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll at least watch a few episodes and see what it's all about. Side note, I also learned the incredible BBC dub of the original show while watching this.
Yeah, I saw a clip of that.
Oh my God, BBC. The official dub. The only dub. But yeah, I sort of was vaguely aware of who Lum was, but didn't really know much about the show itself. That this kid Ataru has to stop being horny for 5 minutes in order to help save the planet, and spoilers, he does it in the first episode, and then he's pledged to marry this alien girl, but his actual girlfriend is super mad at him all the time. It surely is a 70s and 80s story. Sure
sounds like a Rumiko Takahashi manga, whatever, adaptation. Yeah. I know that Mamoru Oshii directed the original, and he's, of course, infamous for Ghost in the Shell and everything, right? But apparently his comedy stuff is also really good. So I wonder if they're just gonna straight up now use the manga, or if they're gonna also use the old series and influence and try to find like a balance between those two things, or what they're gonna do with it. They're gonna make it run as long as the old show did, or longer. So I wonder where they're going with it.
Yeah, I'm not too certain about that, but I guess we'll find out. I mean, right now I think it's slated for like 22 episodes, but maybe there'll be more. Maybe there'll be a split core because we love that. But I for the sake of in historical interest, imagine I'm pushing up some glasses on my face.
Yes.
I was curious to check this out, and the production on the first episode seemed pretty good. So rest assured that David Production is putting that JoJo money to good use still.
Yeah, sure. And I think Urusei Yatsura will also do its job to, give them more credit, because it's just a very well-known franchise, very beloved. The original was anyway, and by a very successful author. That is a big get for them, I think. And they've shown with JoJo's that they know what they can do, and also in terms of comedic timing and everything, if the right directors at the helm, who I don't know if any of the JoJo staff is on that, but I can assume they can deliver punchy humor. So I hope you have a fun time with it.
I hope so too. What do you got next?
Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
Same.
Yeah, so this is a new mainline Gundam series, I guess, though this is not Universal Century stuff. This is AU, Alternate Universe stuff.
Thank you!
Yeah. I know you're sick of UC stuff, John, so...
Like, you know what? There's some UC stuff I don't mind, but...
Origin?
Origin was great.
Yeah.
But you gotta break away from it, at least once per decade.
Yes, let them do some standalone stuff, like, Iron-Blooded Orphans. And, you gotta have something like that once in a while. And this is off to a promising start. At first I thought, wow, the first female main character in a Gundam show, and of course her mobile suit is white and pink. All right, Sunrise. All right, but after the prologue, they changed it to the usual main Gundam color scheme. And Amaryllis is definitely one of the best looking ones, in my opinion. I really like that design. I like that her funnels are multi-purpose. Like they can form a shield, a sword, a gun, which is pretty cool and fresh. Yeah, and there's a bunch of interesting new tidbits. I mean, You could argue that if you've seen one Gundam show, you've seen all Gundam shows, at least when it comes to the core themes and messaging and everything. It's like, war is bad. There you go. Colonies, Earth. That's it. It's like
Pretty much.
war, conflict, independence. Yeah, right. So this is in here too, but there are some neat little twists here. Like, for example, just lore-wise, like Gundams have their roots in the development of medical prosthetics in this universe, which is, I think, a pretty neat idea. Mm-hmm. And the Gundams are detrimental to the health of their pilots in this universe. There's this lady called Dr. Cabro who tried to evolve them further to get rid of that side effect, but a very, very hostile takeover of another company, all under the guise of protecting the peace and health of pilots, literally kills that ambition, except for the only prototype, and, 2 characters, I guess. And the soundtrack is great, and the show looks fucking stellar, like Sunrise just fucking firing on all cylinders. Like, it's probably the best looking Gundam show in, I don't know when, forever, since Origin, maybe? Yeah, it's looking great.
I still want a remake of the original Gundam in the style of Origin. Maybe someday.
Yeah, it's great. Like,
but yeah, this show is looking really great so far, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is penned by Ichiro Okuchi, who, aside from dipping his toe into the Gundam universe before by writing a spin-off to 8th MS Team and some episodes of Tourney Gundam, as well as the movies, also wrote the light novel adaptation of Utena, Revolutionary Girl Utena. So he knows what he's going for here, because this show has a pretty big Utena vibe. Just the way it's set up in a school, and they duel for, certain privileges and stats and whatever. And yeah, that setup feels pretty familiar. And, with the main character being kind of like a hidden character and everything, hiding identity and stuff like that. So that's cool. I like that a lot. I think the setup is pretty damn great, and the way it's executed, but let's also not forget that Okuchi also wrote stuff like Guilty Crown, Valvrave, and one of our ridiculous over-the-top favorites in recent seasons, Skate the Infinity. So this show can fly violently off the rails or get enjoyably insane at any minute. Anything can happen, really, which makes this all the more exciting to watch.
It's okay, though, because he also wrote Code Geass.
Well, he was part of the team, right?
But he wrote it, though.
Sure. Like, he was one of the 2 head writers, but right, yeah. Maybe the good parts were also the other guys. So, we'll see. But, yeah, in theory, like, and everything I've seen so far makes really like what I've seen. Like, I think this show has a lot of potential, and if they don't fuck it up in the second season, like they do with a lot of Gundam shows, then we might have a winner here. I'm just not sure yet. I think there are enough interesting characters. The setup is cool. There are enough assholes you want to see die. So everything is important in a Gundam show. I feel like, the mystery behind the people with the mask is never really that big. Like, in most Gundam shows, you immediately know who's behind the mask, or they don't care. But I still feel like in this one, you could have tried a little harder. Like, if you start watching the show, don't watch the episode 0, because if you don't, then maybe there will be some surprises left for you in the coming episodes. But if you watch the episode 0, which is kind of like the prologue to the actual show, set a bit in the past, and in child of our main character, then you immediately know the identity of the woman behind the mask that appears in the first episode. And it's like, okay, I kind of wish now I didn't watch that episode.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's not that big of a problem, but it's like, why do that? Why even make it so obvious in terms of what they show us of that character and what we know of the other character from the prologue? It's like, guys, come on. You could have made an effort to hide it a little bit. But maybe it's a red herring. Maybe we're supposed to believe that, and they're going to change that up, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure we already know who that character is. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, I think this is a fun. This looks like a fun show, and I'm gonna trust Okuchi for now. The last thing we watched of his was great, so we'll see where this goes. And I hope this is gonna be one of the good Gundam shows. For now, it definitely seems like it will be. John, I don't think you have any maybes left. Neither do I. So should we move over to the keepers?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I have more keepers than you, and we have a bit of overlap. So maybe I should start with one of mine, which I'm pretty sure you're not watching anymore. And that is My Hero Academia Season 6.
Yeah, nope.
Dropped it like a hot potato after the disappointment that was for you, at least the first half of Season 5, which I understand. I empathize. I don't necessarily agree, but I can see your point. For me, the show still has enough merit and pull that I wanted to keep going, and I feel like the 6th season starts out immediately with a bang, like you would want it to. Thanks to Hawk's intel, the heroes already have devised a plan to take out the newly formed Paranormal Liberation Front under its new leader.
They're actually doing something?
Yeah, they're actually just first episode. They're just attacking the headquarters from 2 points on. It's like immediately it's war, and we're like, okay, all right. Where was that traffic?
They wasted a season on this. Why did it take so? Oh,
now you're more angrier than ever.
I really am, dude.
But yeah, it's a fully staffed 2-team attack. Endeavor's team is to capture Garaki, the Dr. Robotnik lookalike that is about to unleash Tomura's full potential in the course of a month. The other team will attack the hotel that is the current base of the Liberation Front. And of course, it doesn't go as planned, and shit hits the fan, but that's half the fun. And we got we're gonna see more of a couple of new heroes, like from the top 10 list, right? We see Mirko, the fighting bunny hero lady, who's cool. And according to her quirk description, she does bunny things even better than an actual bunny. What? Which must mean that she also fucks a whole damn lot, which is A-okay with me. But jokes aside, her fight scenes against the high-end Nomus are awesome and visceral. Holy shit, that's some gruel shit right there. And she doesn't really care if she gets hurt, apparently, as long as she takes out the enemy. It looked really cool. Animation quality wise, Bones really went for it in the first episode too, or in the first 2 episodes. So yeah, it's great. The new OP is great. Going all in on the onomatopoeia. Whatever. I can't pronounce this. Onomatopoeia. Whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
I just was like, wait, huh?
Yeah, it might as well be a made up word. But
seriously.
Yeah. Sorry, it's easier for me in German. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I had a good time with these first few episodes. Hey, this is actually picking up where season 5 left off, with the momentum that season 5 that we left season 5, and doesn't put the brakes in again. I expected the first episode to be one of our usual catch up episodes, right, where they reintroduce us to all the characters. Hey, these is the people from class A1, and these are the important teachers and everything. And it's nope, here's the plan, and we're gonna fucking attack right now. All right, okay. Sure, go for it. I am all here for that. And yeah, that's how it's going. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum going, especially animation quality wise. If this is an entire 24 episode season that is just pure action, balls to the walls, insane action bits from beginning to end, which is what it sounds like plot wise, then I don't know if Bones is staffed enough right now for that, because they're also doing the movies and shit like that. So we'll see. For now, it looks good, and I'm having a great time. So I'm gonna keep watching. I'll let you know how it pans out, John, eventually in a quick review at least. All right, so what is your first keeper?
Pop Team Epic 2!
Of course, the glorious return.
Pop Tepi Peak. Pop Tepi Peak? It's...
I see you're breathing the the atmosphere of the show already.
Pop Tepi Peak.
Oh,
it's
God.
just as weird as the first season. It's great.
Of course.
I told CC about one episode in particular I think he should watch, and they are having too much fun with the voice actor pairings again.
As they should. I mean, that's half the fun of the show, right? It's just pairing up certain voice actors with each other.
Yeah,
and having like these weird conversations as these really weird characters.
Yeah, and again, I don't know how to convey this show, but it's just if you watch it and you just get this feeling that you think you'll enjoy it, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not there for it to be like wild and weird and crazy, then you probably won't get a laugh out of it. But if you like the first season, it is more of the same. And I was really actually wondering if they were going to do some like big wild swing, and it doesn't seem like they're going to. But they also had this like plot going on at the very end of the first season with Shota Aoi, and he comes back at the start of the first season to face his like negative evil self, and then they just cut to what is ostensibly a Kamen Rider intro sequence.
Yes, please.
And it's sick. It's awesome. And then it's just what you expect after that, just Popko and PP acting like weirdos, and the show's great. I love this show. It's so stupid. I am constantly here for how stupid it is, especially with the latest episode where two of the voice actors they were just ad-libbing. They read like the script maybe halfway through, and then are like, we're just gonna ad-lib the rest of this. And I'm sure the voice directors are like, yeah, all right.
If you're gonna do it on any show, it's this one, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
It lends itself to this kind of tomfoolery.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I like it. It's not afraid of what it's trying to be, and that's Pop Team Epic.
Great. So yeah, I hope you have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more stupid gags and more weird voice actor pairings.
I'm pretty sure you will get a lot of those.
One of our friends is still holding out for Yukana and Amiko Shimizu. So maybe this could be it.
I guess you'll see.
Indeed. So, what you got next?
Spy Family, Season 2.
Ooh.
Yes, or Core 2, I guess. Whatever.
Part 2.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're just gonna do more spy stuff. I mean, the first season didn't have that much spy stuff in it, actually, but
no.
This seems to already start off more in that regard. Like, Anya, a cute little gremlin, is supposed to get a dog as a reward for claiming her first Stella. And of course, she picks a dog owned by terrorists who are truly despicable villains that plan to use dogs as living bombs, like dirt beneath my shoes scumbags. Fuck them up, and she does. Which is a great scene. Like, she kicks that one guy in the face and just bounces and roll like on a fucking pinball table.
Yeah.
And the dog is really, really scared.
Do you blame him?
No, it's a smart dog. So yeah. And the new dog is very fluffy, very big lad. Not good with directions, not the bravest, but a very good boy regardless. And Anya can even ride him into battle.
Yeah.
And it can see the future for some reason. What the hell?
Experimentation.
Yeah, everything's possible, Borf. Anyway.
I'm so glad that the subtitles just say Borf.
It is the appropriate exclamation for this kind of dog. So, yeah, a fun time. I don't know where this is going yet, but I assume now the Forger family has a dog as well, which I'm super okay with. I am ready for those Anya Borf adventures. And yeah.
And And you can order a big old plush of the dog now, apparently.
Yeah. Goddamn. I might do that.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I have space for it, but I'm thinking about it.
It looks cozy. But yeah, more Spy Family. There's not much to say. This is like a very easy, very breezy show, and everyone can watch it. It's not super demanding. It's like a nice thing to watch when wrapping up the day. It's like, oh, okay, some fun adventures with these characters. There's some jokes in there. There's some very, very light drama in there, and family dynamics, sitcom stuff. It's very easy on the eyes in more than one way, and I enjoyed a lot. And I think John, that counts for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. This was one of the shows I was really looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, the new OP and ED are also very pretty.
I like the new OP a bit better, I think.
Yeah, same. It's not so busy, over busy. It's a better song, and the visuals and everything are really, like I said, really pretty. But yeah, good stuff. Watch Spy Family. It's a fun ride. John, what is your next keeper?
Golden Kamuy.
Yes, finally.
God, this is such a good season. So glad Golden Kamuy's back. I was a little afraid.
New studio.
That the studio changed from Geno Studio, who definitely cut their teeth on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. They got definitely much better with it.
To Brainspace, I believe. But a lot of the visuals just look very consistent with the previous season. So I'm really glad that they are able to keep it, the same visual style going forward.
Some of the stuff might actually look better.
Yeah, a little better, but it is the character designs and whatnot are mostly what I'm talking about are consistent with the originals. Very
on model compared to the other seasons. Like if I didn't know that they switched studios, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, seriously.
It's the same. The timing on the jokes is exactly the same, which is also a thing you can be worried about. It's like, does the new director maybe not get how long this scene is supposed to linger and everything so that it's funny? But no, they get it. They absolutely get it. It works perfectly. Like the first episode already had several laugh out loud moments for me. Like Tsukushima getting yelled at by Koito for not having a beauty mirror in his equipment bag. Shiraishi getting shot and trying to lure dogs and crows for cover, failing miserably. Sugimoto's horrible drawing skills, the asshole peeker, like top tier entertainment as usual. Like they're banging them out. It's like one after another. Like you can't even rest to breathe. You just keep on laughing. It's just good stuff. And there's also threats in there because Ogata is still on the loose. So we'll see when he come back again, and he will, according to the OP. So this is gonna be, and some new characters apparently. So yeah. This is going to be cool.
This is another show that has a lot of characters, but I feel
thanks for character wiki from Golden Kamuy. It's like, who's that character again?
Yeah,
we have seen like for one episode, like the prison, the ex-prison warden, Kadokura. I was like, who's that? It's like, all right, that guy.
I mean, I like this note that they started off on, where it's basically the very final scene of season 3, where Ogata is riding away and Sugimoto is saying, "You need to live so I can kill you."
Yeah,
which is still such a good moment, dude.
Fantastic. Like I'm not gonna have that last be blemished on a Serpus conscience, so I'm gonna save you just to kill you myself. That is so fucking badass. Like Sugimoto is just a motherfucker. He's so cool.
Metal. So metal.
He's so heavy metal. He's like the most heavy metal good guy ever. Like what a fucking Chad. He's the best. Like Sugimoto is fantastic, and can't wait to follow more of his adventures and the Serpus adventures, of course. And Shiraishi, there's so many cool characters in this. Tanigaki, they're all great. Like there's so many great characters in Golden Kamuy. Like you said, a lot of characters in general, but pretty much all of them are great in one way or another. It's like, at least some you love to hate, like Ogata, but there are also some really weird and cool ones. And man, what a show. What a fucking show. May it never end. I mean, of course, it will end when the manga ends. Is the manga over?
The manga ended, I believe, in April.
Right. So I hope they just keep this going until they've adapted all of it. Which it seems that's what it looked like.
I hope so, dude. Because I would love for this to ride it out to the end. Like I didn't bother to check where we are in relation to the manga. I'll have to do that. But yeah, please keep going with this show. I love it too much. Also, I love the new OP. Dude.
Oh, it's great. Ali going hard.
Like for a long while, the Man with a Mission song was probably my favorite. And then I heard this one. I was like, this is really good.
The perfect moment.
I think it's called Never Say Goodbye. It's so tight.
Yeah, and the moment where they like jump, Sugimoto, Asirpa, and Shiraishi just jump into the screen, and the title of the show appears, and it's like this breather moment in the song, and after that it goes bam bam, and it's really great. Like it works perfectly. Like the visuals with the music are cut perfectly, and that's how I like it. And yeah. Fantastic! Like, watch Golden Kamuy for fuck's sake. If you've watched the first 2 seasons yet, what are you waiting for? This is a banger of a show.
Do it!
Goddamn. And we are looking forward to talking about it more when we review it again. So
will it win John's favorite of the season a 3rd, 4th time? Probably.
Go for the hat trick. Yeah. Sure, why not? Great times. So looking forward to that. My next keeper is a blast from the past, which I didn't expect. Like, I don't think anyone expected it to come back. But here it is. It's Bleach.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Bleach is back. It's on Hulu for some reason at Disney Plus, I guess. At least in some countries. Yes. Yes, it was licensed by Disney for some reason.
What? No.
Yes. So that's where it is right now. Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War, which is the name of the final arc, which we hadn't gotten yet. We got pretty much all of Bleach adapted except for that big final arc, which is the war against the Quincy's, which were supposed to be all dead. I think the only one remaining was supposed to be Ishida was supposed to be the last Quincy, I thought. But apparently not. Apparently they're still around or something, and the king of the Quincy's is about to awake. Like the infamous demon hunters, whatever. And they're starting a war with Soul Society. Like right from the get-go. Like they're attacking on all fronts, raising havoc. Some are attacking Ichigo and friends, some are attacking Soul Society headquarters, like the captain of the first squad and everything. So it's getting crazy, and the show looks different too. It looks darker, looks grittier. The animation quality is a lot better, at least in the first couple of episodes. It looks like Puro is definitely going for it with this one. Apparently, they're making some changes from the source material. I don't know what exactly, because I haven't read the manga. I don't know how those have been received by the fan base, but maybe they're tightening up the material and stuff like that to make it flow better. Who knows? We'll see. But right now I'm having a fun time with it. Like, holy shit. The first few minutes of the first episode is one of the most badass reintroduction to main characters ever. Like, it's beautiful, it looks great, they use the music theme you expect them to use. I was cheering. I was literally cheering. I was following Bleach on a weekly basis when it ran. It was one of the big 3-pillar shonen shows next to Naruto and One Piece for me. And I was like, by the end I was a bit of, this is taking too long. Also, Aizen has kind of become a joke and stuff like that. So that was a shame. But I didn't even follow the last weird Fullbringer arc or whatever it was called, because that was like just bad. But I'm ready to give this another chance, and what I've seen of this arc so far is super fun. And I was just happy to see these characters again. It's like, oh man, guys, it's been a while, and the way they introduced them, just kicking ass, just killing hollows left and right, and it was a fun time, and the music just starting up. Yes, I'm ready to see some action. And it's a good time. And I'm looking forward to more. I wonder if Pure can keep up that level of quality because they usually only unleash their full potential every 20 episodes or something, and the rest looks mid at best.
Wow.
At least the long-running shonen shows. That's how it was with Black Clover. That's how it was with Naruto. It's like you get like mid-tier animation quality for most of them. Some look really bad, and then every 20 episodes or something, you get like a ridiculous episode where like Puro's movie team is at the helm and it's just the most insane thing you've ever seen. It's like, oh shit, okay, I know now why I'm sticking around for this show, just for these episodes alone.
I didn't realize that the original show had gotten that far along in this story, because I never really watched it.
Yeah, no, it had. And for some reason, then they just stopped. Because the manga was still running at that point, I think, and they didn't want to make another filler arc, or interest was dropping off or something. And I mean, Bleach dropped in interest in general. The manga did too. I don't know how well the final arc was received. Fine enough, I think, but definitely not one of its highlights, apparently. But I want to see it, and, I'm just, okay, I'm fine with just give me a good basic shonen show with characters I at least loved back in the day. And it's like, yeah, these are all back and they're fun. And this show is bringing them back in a big way. And that's how it's supposed to be. So
that's good.
Yeah, I wonder how many episodes this will have. I think the final arc is pretty lengthy. So we might look at whatever they do. If they're going to make it a continuous thing, like they do with most big shonen shows, at least Puro does. Or if they're going to make it a seasonal thing, I have no idea. But yeah, I'll see. I'll definitely follow it because, hey, I loved Bleach a whole damn lot when it was running back in the day. And now that the arc is actually finished, the manga is already finished, I don't think there will be any fillers in there. Because like all big, long-running shonen shows, like Naruto, like One Piece, Bleach was also plagued by a lot of filler material. Because they had to keep the show running, because that was the model back in the day. They didn't go like the season stuff like they're doing now for the bigger shonen stuff, like My Hero Academia does. That's not how it was done. And Black Clover still didn't do that. And that was a Puro show, and they put a lot of filler into that. And I only watched that once it was finished, and with a guide that told me, okay, this is filler stuff. You don't have to watch this, and you can watch that stuff.
Did Black Clover the manga ever finish, or?
As far as I know, yes. But same as with Bleach, they haven't adapted the final arc of or arcs of the manga yet in anime form.
I see.
So maybe, yeah. So maybe after they're done with Bleach, they will do the final arcs of Black Clover. Who knows? I will watch that too.
And maybe then I'll finally check it out. Because I was, at first I wasn't kind of interested in Black Clover. Then I saw some stuff about it. And then I saw people talking about it. I was like, yeah, I'll look at it someday.
Yeah, the main character is, you need to get used to him because he's this like the worst kind, especially in the beginning.
He's shonen protag.
He's shonen protag. He's loud. He's yelling all the time, and he's very one note. But that changes after a while, and I was grateful for that. And he becomes a pretty cool character. So
that's cool.
If you can get over the initial hump, then that's you can have a lot of fun with this show. But again, recommending just with all long-running shonen shows. Look up, I don't know what the site is called.
I think it's called like Anime Filler List.
Anime Filler List, exactly. And that will tell you exactly which episodes are actual manga canon and which are not, and which maybe you can watch because they're anime canon and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's good stuff, and that makes it a much easier watch. And yeah, a lot of those battles in that show are insane. And I expect the same kind of stuff from this season or whatever series of Bleach. If the first episode is any thing to go by, any indication, then holy shit, yeah, in for a ride with this one, most definitely. All right, John, what is your next keeper?
Next keeper is another one that we are both definitely watching.
Mm-hmm.
That is Mob Psycho 103.
The best boys are back.
Yes. Reagan and Mob are back, and first couple episodes are, they're pretty much what you'd expect, except Mob seems to think that he's getting noticed by all the ladies now.
No, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I've only watched the first episode.
It's like the immediate next episode. So
Okay, all right.
Super spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the chatification of Shigeo, as it was referred to in a Crunchyroll clip.
Oh no! Is he getting a makeover?
You'll see.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I feel like they're already doing interesting stuff with where they left off the characters in the second season with both Mob and Reagan, like making huge strides in their character development in that season. And which I loved, especially Reagan's part in it. And now it's not like they're walking that back or anything. And it's like, hey, Mob is still uncertain, and when it comes to certain things, like what path to take towards his future and everything, and he doesn't know what high school he wants to go to, he doesn't know what career path to pick and stuff like that. And thankfully, Reagan is there to teach him that it's okay to take your time to figure yourself out. Which, after all, he decided to become a psychic con artist on a whim because he was bored with his old job, and he's pretty happy with what he's doing right now. Like he knows what Mob needs to hear from him, and he's now accepting more pretty much like how he is and the way he is, and doesn't necessarily try to force him to stay by his side to feel self-validated and everything and not be alone. Right? Just to have a friend here and everything. And that's nice to see. Like, you really see what they did with Reagan in season 2. It's sticking with that character. And now he has a new protege, from which Serizawa, who was one of the bad guys in the second season, but now moved over to Reagan's side. And they're working together and stuff like that. And Mob is still helping out. And again, faces are still top tier. The jokes are fucking great. Everything Reagan does is perfect. Like, rice grain Big Bang motherfuckers. Like, I'm all there for that shit.
Yeah, they're starting to kind of focus on the giant broccoli in the middle of the city now as well, because the psycho helmet religion is kind of getting a little unruly.
Yeah, and Dimples seems to have something in mind. Which was teased in the trailers and everything, that he might do another heel turn. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where this goes. And this, according to all sources, this will be the final season. This will be the end. So I'm really interested how they wrap this all up. And yeah, looking forward to a more Mob Psycho. How could I not? The first and second season were some of our favorite bits of anime in the previous years. And I have no reason to believe that this won't be the case for the third outing.
Big same. So you have one more keeper?
I have one more keeper, and this is probably a surprise for no one, because I think I've been at least partially hyping up the show in, I don't know, sneak peeks or whatever. Definitely name dropped it here and there, and it's probably one of the biggest shows this season if you ignore Mob and if you ignore Bleach, and maybe Gundam. And that is Chainsaw Man. Of course, Mappa's big thing, adaptation of a hit manga, and judging from what I've heard from a bunch of different people in the know, one of the craziest stories told in manga form so far, and one of the best too. And yeah, looking forward to it. Like, main character is a guy named Denji, who works as a devil hunter for the Yakuza to pay off the debt his father left him when he died. And there are a bunch of devils with different powers. The first episode has a zombie devil, even a tomato devil. Don't ask. And Denji himself has a cute little pet devil dog called Pochita, who has a chainsaw sticking out of his face that Denji uses to kill the other devils. And then Denji saved Pochita's life and made a pact with him. And all Denji really wants to do is just earn some money to live a normal life. Like, he has no big lofty goals. He just wants to live an easy life, eat good bread with jam on it. Like, he only gets dry bread right now because he's just broke all the time. And yeah, so that's his dream, and doesn't seem to play out that well for him in the first episode, when the Yakuza literally stab him in the back and kill him. But Pochita becomes his heart because he has taken, of course, because Denji saved his life, but also he has taken a shine to Denji's dreams and he wants to see Denji follow them through. So he becomes Denji's heart, his literal heart, and now Denji is able to transform into the titular Chainsaw Man with a chainsaw sticking out of a helmet on his head, or his monster, demon head, devil head, whatever, and also on his arms. And he just makes short work of all the devils or the Yakuza that attacked him and everything. And it's a wild scene. It's crazy, it's grim, it's dark, it's super violent, it's bloody, it's all insane. And then he gets recruited by professional devil hunters. So we'll see where that goes. The second episode is out now, I think, and I will watch it probably after the recording. So yeah, show is incredibly good looking, but big hairy butt there. Sadly, there's a bunch of CG used in the back half of the first episode. Thankfully, only for the fight scene, but I still hope they dial that back because, as usual, it's distracting as fuck, at least for me. I like the characters, I like the visuals. Otherwise, the OP is fucking insane. There's a bunch of movie references in it. It's just super crazy and over the top and fun. And I want a plushie of Pochita. He's the most adorable thing. Like, you see him everywhere now. Like, since the first episode, that chainsaw dog is fucking everywhere. And there's with good reason. He's a very good boy. And I think he's adorable. So, Chainsaw Man, big action banger, like as the trailers leading up to this premiere promised it. And if they dial back a bit on the CG, and if the characters will turn out as promising as they seem to be, there seem to be a lot of fun characters, judging from the OP and what I've heard of it. And yeah, I can't wait to see more of it. And looking forward to this being the hit it is supposed to be. You're probably not going to watch it, John.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I tried watching a clip of it, and it got a little too body horror for me.
I understand. It's really gruesome. It doesn't pull any punches, absolutely.
Like,
but
I think Attack on Titan is my limit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's pretty gruesome too, though.
Yeah, it's probably gonna get worse, judging from what I've heard of the manga. So,
good.
Maybe a good way to just pull the emergency brake now and just jump off the fucking train.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will let you know. I will definitely do a review of this because it's just demands to have one, and people are super interested in it, and a lot of places take notice. A lot of people take notice. And yeah, looking forward to talking about to seeing more of it, talking more about it, and yeah, it's probably gonna be the thing people talk most about from this season.
Oh, for sure.
But that's it right now for the sneak peek. We will see some of the shows definitely back, at least as a quick review for the continued season things, if not both of us watching those. Also some full-length reviews later. But for now, we have our first review from summer season, and we're going to talk about that right now.
So, all that out of the way. First show we're talking about from the summer season it was one that I was initially kind of curious about, and I eventually ended up dragging you into watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't do... I mean, you did most of the work, but also there were some trailers and some stuff I heard, and for some reason, Hideo Kojima going like crazy about the show. It's like...
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
It's like, okay, I guess I gotta at least check it out. And I did. I watched it all the way through, so...
Yes, that show is Lycoris Recoil.
Mm-hmm.
So... The number of terrorist attacks in Japan has never been lower thanks to the efforts of a syndicate called Direct Attack, or DA. The organization raises orphan girls as killers to carry out assassinations under their Lycoris program. Takina Inoue is an exceptional Lycoris with a strong sense of purpose and a penchant for perfection. Unfortunately, a hostage situation tests her patience, and the resulting act of insubordination leads leads to her transfer out of DA. Not thrilled about losing the only place she belonged to, she reluctantly arrives at her new base of operations, Lycoris Recoil, a cafe in disguise. Takina's new partner, however, turns out to be quite different from what she imagined. Despite being the famed Lycoris prodigy, Chisato Nishikigi appears almost unconcerned with her duties. She drags Takina along on all sorts of odd jobs under the simple explanation of helping people in need. Takina is even more puzzled when Chisato takes down a group of armed assailants without killing any of them. Feeling like a fish out of water, Takina itches to get reinstated into DA, but Chisato is determined to prove to her that there is more to a life than just taking them. So this here is an original joint. Not many of those anymore, it feels like. Produced at our friends at A1 Studios. The credit for creating this show is a little weird because it goes to Spider Lily, which it's another way of referring to Lycoris the flower, which is, I guess, a big cooperation between Kadokawa Dentsu and Aniplex. But
interesting. This sounds like they're planning to also spin this off into something else.
Well, it's also planned as a mixed media project, so...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
One of the other creators was a writer named Asaura, who worked on one of my big favorite anime of all time, Bento!
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that explains a lot, actually.
If you haven't watched Bento... You're missing out. That show's great.
We talked about Bento on this show before and how much we loved it.
Oh, I know, but it's still worth mentioning. Show is directed by one Shingo Adachi. If you've heard that name, you've probably watched Sword Art Online or Working / Lagnaria. Funny thing, I learned he also did some animation work on Mega Man NT Warrior.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. He handled a lot of the scripting, as well as Takahiro Shikama, who has a lot of animation credits under their belt. It seems like this is like both of their first time really like going to the writer's board and doing the big bulk of it. And it show's wild. It's this fun action romp that, kind of, I guess without... It's hard to talk about the crux of parts of the plot without getting too deep into spoilers, but what DA does to keep the peace is a kind of strange, but I don't quite get even after watching the show all the way through, I don't 100% understand the idea of deploying these girls as your hired guns in order to keep the peace. But okay, if it works, it works.
I guess it's a bit like Minority Report, where it's like they identify certain threats beforehand and just take them out without a trial or something like that. At least that's how it's supposed to work. Where it's like, yeah, we have these secret assassin ladies, basically, who are inconspicuous due to their attire and whatever, because they look like schoolgirls, and then they just walk around and kill people. And that's how it works. And terrorists beware, or whatever. And yeah, so I guess that's the plan, but there's also playing some more into it, and there's also a fail-safe male version, I guess.
Yeah, Lilybell.
Yeah, so... This is maybe the well end for that is deeper than you initially think. And of course, then there are the personal stories, right? Our main character, Chisato, her background and everything. And that is kind of more the focus of this season than the overarching maybe conspiracy stuff, if there is some actually in there.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about how they try to keep sort of a handle on information dissemination with the system called Radiata.
Yeah.
But it's not a perfect system by a long shot, and they go out of their way to really make you understand that.
Yeah. Kind of hit you over the head with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because apparently the system is not very secure and is subject to constant hacks. Oops.
It's really weird, like, because we have a hacker on the bad side, we have a hacker on the good side, but neither of them actually work for that agency that is supposed to be like the linchpin of cybersecurity and whatever. It's just like, okay, who are you employing then? What HR? What are you doing? What the fuck? Get the good people on the job. Hell. But yeah, it is like you said, it's definitely not a perfect system. Like, not at all.
No.
You mentioned that this is a fun action romp, and I didn't know that. You mentioned the author of Bento did the original work on this, right? The original concept, whatever.
Yeah, did some writing on it, and I think they're helping to also do some writing on the manga adaptation, because the it's an original anime, but there's also a manga adaptation of it that's being worked on. There's like a light novel spin-off, I guess.
Yeah. But in terms of tone, and like I said, I didn't know that. So what I felt like by watching this, and what I alluded to in my intro narration at the start of the episode, was this felt a lot like a Shane Black movie, like Lethal Weapon, or even more so like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or Nice Guys. Like wacky characters with the two mains being almost polar opposites that complement each other well. A bit less absurd in tone, but the same amount of banter dynamics / dialogue writing and unpredictable mix of comedy and serious beats, because those are all in there. Like, a lot of that show is like funny, it's comedy based, especially when it comes to one of our main characters, Chisato, and the other main character, Takina, and how they behave around each other and stuff like that. And a lot of the dialogue is very punchy, is very quick-witted. Like, the exchanges are very fast, like, they're beats by the minute, and you don't really hear that kind of dynamic dialogue that much in action shows. In comedy shows, probably, yes. But in action shows, not so much. And this is what it felt like more in certain parts. Like, no, this is a wacky, not ad-lib, but in terms of the dynamic, how the characters talk to each other and the pace it was going. This felt more like a straightforward comedy show. But then you also, on top of it, get all the ludicrous gun action that the show has.
I mean, I feel like it knows how to strike that balance between like the action segments and the story beats with the bits of levity to give it, that little bit of balance between the two. I said balance twice. Wow. It just feels like I'm not quite sure how I want to say this without sounding stupid and wordy. I graduated with an English degree.
I know.
But I like that there's a good back and forth between the two sides of how the show is being presented, because you have, and it's not always present in every episode, so it doesn't feel like there's some whiplash back and forth, which I'm thankful for. But you have, some episodes that are a bit more serious than others, but you always have it feels like the plot was always moving forward, but the way it was framed in different episodes was, slightly different from one to another. So it felt like there was some time to breathe between, the way they were presenting it.
Yeah. That feels like it. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we could talk about our two main characters while we are at it. We have like Chisato, who is very peppy with a happy-go-lucky attitude, like hyper energetic.
Yeah.
Can get
your token Genki girl.
Yeah, absolutely. Very Genki. Like, at the beginning, I had to adjust to her tempo, I guess, if you want to call it that, because I got a bit exhausted in the beginning of how fucking like energetic and Genki she is. Like, she is on 150% all the time. Just, considering some of her physical features that she has, you could explain it like that. Like, she's on full jolt all the time because you know why. I don't want to give that away because it's kind of a twist in the show, but it's like, all right, if you want to explain it like that, that's why she is. Of course, that's not the reason, but still, it's funny. So yeah,
it's the reason now.
Yeah, it's the reason now, exactly. And then on the other side of things, you have like Takina, who's like this no-nonsense girl, swinging a minigun on occasion. Like a bit sullen and cold, but not unsympathetic. And yeah, I definitely felt for her having to tolerate Chisato's constant antics.
Yeah,
You know.
it kind of starts off that way for sure.
Yeah, on the other hand, it's exactly what Takina needs to get her out of the funk that she has been in since deciding to disobey orders in favor of saving a teammate, which gets her into quite a lot of trouble. And then she gets moved to Lycoris Recoil, to that cafe, and Chisato is basically her new partner and, I guess, commanding officer. And the structure kind of is always like these teams in, what was the name? DA, right? Where it's like, it's two Lycoris, and one is like the leader, kind of the commander, I guess, and the other one is the execution thing, whatever. At least that seems to be how it works. They have different colors in terms of uniforms too, if I understood it correctly.
It seems like that can kind of shift back and forth.
Yeah, but some of the most important characters, for them, it works like that. They have like these two-man teams or two-woman teams. And they develop a really cool dynamic, and they're fun together. Like, one of my favorite moments is actually in the OP, like at the end of the OP, where they just kick each other's ass. like Chisato does it playfully, and then fucking Takina just does a roundhouse kick to her backside, and she's like, holy shit, ow! It's great. It's a great moment. Like, it's such a nice little detail, and that kind of perfectly characterizes their dynamic. Like, Chisato always being like teasing Takina and always being, haha, here's that, oh, this is funny, and why are you being like that? That's hilarious, and stuff like that. And then just Takina just not taking any of that shit. But they, still getting along pretty much. I don't feel like there's any big moments in the show where they really are butting heads super aggressively. Like, they very quickly grow fond of each other. Strong team with strong bonds. I don't know, John, if you felt like that too.
Oh, no, definitely. The friendship that blooms between them, it's super great. They go from just not really being like toward each other, but just sort of two very different people that then just sort of gradually become better and better friends, and you really get to see that over the course of the series. And if it happened too quickly, it would have been like but it happens really gradually, and we get to see them becoming great partners, great friends, and it's I really like that a lot. So
yeah, same. I really like their dynamic. I like the other characters in the cafe. There are a bunch of more. One is a bit. You mentioned her in the sneak peek. Like, it's one of the. She's that trope. Yeah, it's like the woman who desperately wants a boyfriend, and she's like that all the time. But not just that. Like, she has some cool other moments as well, and some really funny bits. I liked her interaction with what's the hacker girl's name?
Kudumi?
Yeah, Walnut, right?
Yeah.
I like their exchanges because they have like this weird older sister or mother-daughter, older sister, younger sister, or mother-daughter thing going on, and that gave me some laugh out loud moments. Like, their dynamic is also really fun. So yeah, those are cool. And then you have like this mentor sensei guy, the owner of the cafe, who also has a really strong relationship with Chisato, and is a gay character, which is pretty rare. And the way the show is just pretty much out there in saying it, which is also pretty rare for anime.
Yeah, that's like when they did that, or the build toward that was sort of like, is he? And then when they kind of spelled it out in no uncertain terms, it was like, oh, okay, yep. This is nice for a change.
You love to see it. It's a troubled relationship because the guy he was in a relationship with is also like this kind of father figure to Chisato, but he's also maybe not the best dude for one reason or another. So, but that brings the drama into this, right? Because this show has a very even mix of comedy, of drama, of action. It's all in there, and one doesn't detract from the other. So that's also one of the important pillars. And the biggest drama comes from this from Chisato's origin story and the two male characters she is involved with. Or even three, if you want to talk about the big villain of this, or one of the big villains of this season, which is Majima, who's a lot of fun. He's a terrorist.
He's kind of like the yin to Chisato's yang.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he comes across as a pretty intelligent guy, a suave brute type, if you want. And he wants to tear down the Lycoris because he doesn't like that they dress themselves as heroes while they operate outside of the law. And Kusunoki, on the other hand, says, Kusunoki being the head of DA, kinda, that the Lycoris existed way before these laws were put into place. So she thinks they don't apply to their organization, which is...
That's
okay,
not
lady.
how it works.
That's not... But I can see her point of view. It's like this stubborn, no, this is a legacy thing, and we allowed these laws to be made, and so we have, I don't know, whatever. So, but that's what we what we mean when we talked about this is a flawed system because it's made by flawed people and also egomaniacs and shit like that. So, of course it doesn't work perfectly. And yeah, he wants to tear that all down, and the mechanics of his master plan are a bit far-fetched, especially when it comes to the public reaction to that and everything, and how he accounted for that and what he wanted to gain from that. But yeah, it's fine. Like, it's a ridiculous action plot. I can deal with that. And his exchange, like with Chisato, they have several exchanges during the show because they have kind of a connection. I don't want to give too much away, but there's some connection there. And when they encounter each other, of course, there's, action involved, there's close quarter combat, there's gun fights and shit like that between those, which are awesome. But also there's great dialogue scenes between them. This really well-written, funny, punchy, interesting dialogue. Like, those two just having these nonchalant talks with each other, and he's like, hey, I am the bad guy, but, I do it that way. And Chisato being like, okay, I'm gonna listen to your shit, but also I'm giving you my peace of mind. And it's just fun. It was just one of the most fun parts of the show for me, like having these two characters like butting heads with each other, but also just having these casual talks in the middle of a climactic fight scene and just sitting down and drinking a fucking soda together before they shoot each other again. It was great. I don't know, Joe, how did you feel about those two?
I thought that was great because, of course, this is ostensibly taking a lot of pages out of a big action movie. But for them to stop, both of them, and agree, let's have a talk. It was great because, also helped flesh out, the interaction in both of their characters. So the fact that they, even though they are polar opposites, the fact that they're at least a little willing to listen to one another lends their relationship? I don't think that's the right word, but it lends some depth to the back and forth between them.
Yeah, that and, to Majima as a villain, which is important. Like, you don't want him to be like this one-sided thing, and these talks very much help to give his character a bit of grip. And that's important, in my opinion, and makes him more of a fun guy, because he's really enjoying what he's doing, absolutely.
Oh, man, I love when Yoshisugu Matsuoka gets to just be himself, and this is a great role for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing great work here. And yeah, like, character dynamics in the show are probably, the plot is okay, right? It's a decent action plot, but it's not the highlight of the show. It's not like, oh wow, here's these great twists and turns. There are some in there, but they're also, the best turns in this are character based. They're not necessarily, oh, here's this big conspiracy thing, or here's this weird plot twist happening, and it's catching you off guard, and you're like totally floored by stuff like that. That's not how this show works. Most of the good stuff is in the character dynamics and how they work and everything and how they develop. And front and center of that, of course, are Chisato and Takina. Like, they're, like I mentioned before, they're like polar opposites, character behavior-wise, but also in terms of how they approach their job. Like, Chisato uses non-lethal ammo, quote-unquote. Like,
how does it punch through a car?
That's the thing. I'm not even sure that those were Chisato's bullets. Maybe they were Takina. I don't remember it correctly, but I wanted to put the joke in here in the intro anyway. But the thing with the blood spray is true. Like, she uses apparently rubber bullets, but when they hit the people, there's like this red mist that makes it look like her opponents actually bleed. For some reason, that is a thing. And like, the show is trying to having its cake and eating it too. And yeah.
I feel like there was some weird explanation for that, and I can't remember what it was about it, though. So
Yeah, but it's still bullshit.
Yeah, no.
You know why they do that.
It's anime.
Like, yeah, they were like, hey, she doesn't actually kill the people, but we make it look like she did because that's cool. And it's like, all right, okay, so you do you, that's fine. And Takina doesn't give a fuck anyway. Yeah, Takina mows guys down left and right, and she's like, and this echoes in their general attitudes. Like, Chisato considers saving people the most important thing, and Takina on the surface is still partially under the spell of the organization's doctrine, in the beginning at least. Mm-hmm. Like, that fulfillment of the mission comes first, and everything else, is secondary to that. Because DA wants tools who don't think for themselves. They want marionettes, they want puppets who execute orders, and that's why Chisato is also kind of like, she has been excised from the main branch, kind of because she thinks for herself, and they can't have that. And of course, she infects Takina with that.
Oh no! Imagine thinking for yourself.
Thinking soldiers. What has the world come to? And yeah, it's good stuff. Like, the dynamic is great, and like I said, there are a bunch of fun bits and jokes in this show that keep you going. That even when this plot is not necessarily moving forward, there's also always some fun things, some cute side gags. Like, there was a Terminator sound cue gag in here, which was
That's
great.
Right,
It was fantastic. Like, Chisato helps a random French couple, a Japanese couple that is pretending to speak French to not speak Japanese. Like, there are a bunch of great jokes. Like, you mentioned the one episode that I was supposed to watch with the great rock, paper, scissors duel thing where
that episode's so good.
Yeah, Takina heavily miscalculated there.
Let's split up the chores. How will we do that? With rock, paper, scissors. Uh-oh.
Yeah. And, there's also, some cool bullshit powers in here. Like, Chisato is ridiculously good at predicting bullet trajectories and can evade pretty much everything.
She has permanent bullet time somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Her non-lethal approach also makes her employ creative battle tactics. Like, there's this one scene in episode 2 where she uses a perfectly timed grenade to blow a door out of its hinges and knock out the guy she maneuvered in front of it. That's some cool shit. It's just like well-directed stuff, like a well-choreographed fight scene and stuff you haven't seen before. It's like, hey, I don't want to shoot that guy in the head, but he's a danger, so what can I do? I'm just going to use this grenade, it's going to blow up the door, and it's going to hit him right in the fucking face. Perfect. It's a great scene. And there's a bunch of that stuff in here. It's not like just people shooting each other, but getting creative with it. And yeah, I like that a lot.
I think one of my favorite recurring gags was, I think it was Fuki and Sakura going into Lycoris Recoil to speak with Chisato and Takina. And one of them is always trying to order like a snack to eat, and the other one is like, all right, we have to go now. But I didn't get my snack. And it happens like no less than 2 times, maybe 3 times. I don't remember exactly, but it's really good.
There are a bunch of good gags in here, like the poop dessert, dessert stuff. It's like, how did you not realize what you were doing?
Takina, you realize this looks like, don't tell her. Oh, okay.
You innocent girl. Another thing, I like that Chisato and Majima bond over movies. Like, that's suddenly their thing. It's like, why? This is a bad guy.
Oh, you
geeking out.
Oh, you like this movie that's totally not Die Hard, huh?
Yeah. This series wears its influences on its sleeves. But yeah, that's part of the fun. That's part of the fucking fun. Majima, like, in terms of crazy bullshit powers, like I said, Chisato has constant bullet time. Majima has fucking daredevil powers with hearing that is almost like echolocation.
Yeah.
So yeah, you even get crazy a lot of crazy anime bullshit in this, which is also always super fun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what this comes down to. This is a fun, super stylish action show. The eye catches are pretty stylish too. Like the OP is stylish and ED everything. It's a really good looking show.
Apparently, they had to change one of the eye catches, though.
Really?
There's one episode where the eye catch depicts Takina and Chisato with the actual flower, a Lycoris, that is lit up like a cigarette, pretending like they're smoking it, and that had to go, apparently.
I could swear that was in the show.
No, it was, but I think they got rid of it after it aired.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay,
so I think subsequent reruns and maybe the Blu-ray release, that I'm not sure, it might be gone.
Yeah, but not the streaming version, I think.
Probably not, unless Aniplex gets really uppity about it.
But that was one of the coolest eye catchers, I feel like, just style-wise.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's why I remembered it.
I'm not disagreeing, but there was a little bit of a to-do about it.
It's weird that they didn't. I mean, it's Japan, so.
But then again, we couldn't see Jotaro smoking in Stardust Crusaders on TV, so.
Yeah, only in the Blu-ray. But they cut a bunch of stuff, violence too, in the TV version, so JoJo's was heavily censored anyway. But I feel like there was an eye catcher where there was a bit risque with what was her name? Walnut Kurumi, right?
Yeah.
Is that her real name? Just posing really.
Oh, but that's all right though.
Yeah, that's all right. Like lying on the ground, having like this bedroom look on her face, and just I don't know who was it standing over her and taking photos. I felt like that was a bit more icky than the cigarette stuff, but okay, you could whatever.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but aside from that, the eye catches are really cool and always different, and I like that when the show does that. So, also, really, really well drawn. So, cool shit. Like I said, the OP is very cool, with the kicking the ass and everything. Although, like the final stretch of the OP, not the kicking part, makes me laugh for a different reason. Like,
what's that?
It's just a fashion show, John. Like,
oh yeah, come on, dude. Yeah, of course. There's episodes dedicated to them going out shopping for new clothes. Yes, of course.
But it's so fucking in your face in the final stretch of the OP where they just show our two characters in a bunch of different costumes. Like, it'll be
perfect for the inevitable gotcha game.
Yeah, 6 or 8. It's like this show is screaming in your face. Don't worry, nerds and perverts. You'll be able to buy figures of all of these outfits. Like you said, you do it in the actual episodes too, but it's just the OP is hitting you over the head with it. It's like, hey, here are your sexy main characters, and you will buy all of these figures. And that made me laugh.
God.
Yeah. Fun times. But yeah, fun times. Those are the words. Those are the actual review punchline words for this, I would say, because... This is what the show is. It's a fun time. It's not super deep. It's not super heavy, though there is some heavy dramatic stuff in there. But it's also not too light. It's not too fluffy. It's the right mix. If you want to have a good, fun action show, like I said, in the vein of Lethal Weapon, in the vein of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, in the vein of Nice Guys, or some of the stuff as references that gets dropped in the movie itself, or even if you like the humor of Bento in a way, although that was a completely different subject matter. But yeah, I can see that the guy who was responsible for that is also partially responsible for this, because it's like, yeah, in terms of how punchy the dialogue is and the humor and stuff like that, the comedic timing, sure, that works, but more than that, I was thinking of a certain brand of buddy cop movie that this definitely is and definitely draws from. And I like those movies a lot. So, of course, I like this. We weren't the only ones. I don't know if you wanted to bring that up, because we'll talk about that later with the Kojima thing or stuff like why. I don't know why he attached himself to that show so heavily, but he was heavily promoting it on Twitter.
All right. So, the story goes So we know Kojima is huge into movies.
Mhm.
Apparently he was searching on Amazon Prime Video for that movie Licorice Pizza.
Yes.
So Lycoris and Licorice are
Very
written
close.
the same in katakana.
Mm.
So he happened upon Lycoris Recoil on Amazon Prime Video, and he just like binge watched the first 3 episodes. He's like, "Yo, this show's good. This show's really good." And then that kind of disseminated out to his fans, and who knew there would be an overlap between Metal Gear, Death Stranding, and Lycoris Recoil between those fan bases.
I mean,
And I mean,
looking.
it's a spoiler to say so, but I feel like part of this story kind of touches on some of the things you may or may not have said in Metal Gear. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And also just a basic setup thing. Like, you have sexy girls, you have crazy gun action and stuff like that, close quarter combat with very detailed choreography. That feels like something you see in Metal Gear, and then you have a bit of underlying spy stuff and government shit and stuff like that. That works for him too. And it's like, I don't know. That seems like it would. I'm not surprised at all that Kojima liked this show a lot. That feels like it's in his ballpark.
Yeah.
And I consider not only the action part, but also the horny stuff too, because his Twitter is at the same time the most vanilla, but also one of the most horny accounts on Twitter. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's toned it down a lot, but it's funny. It's really funny. And I feel like the show doesn't really go there. Like, the show is not super horny. You could expect, hey, it's an A1 show. It's a moe-ish show, definitely, with a lot of girl characters. So
the show definitely keeps it in check most of the time.
Absolutely. So. It's not like, yes, Chisato has big boobs. Who cares? She doesn't throw them in your face all the time, and even then it wouldn't matter. But still, it's not one of those shows. It's a fashion show, like we said. So they put these two girls in a bunch of different costumes that they look good in, but it's not just that. The show is not there for just that. I mean, that's some of the side scenes.
Chisato also may or may not be horny for Takina, so
Yeah, maybe, but also unresolved father issues, and also maybe there's something that attracts her to Majima. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
They also kind of ended on maybe some sequel bait? Maybe?
Yeah, I felt like they did. Yeah, I mean, there's some unresolved plot points. They don't necessarily have to go there, but if they want to, they can. And the way this is set up, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of it.
I'd be absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, they definitely can do more. There's still some mysteries afoot here that we could go into, and I would absolutely watch more of this for sure. It was a very, very quick and easy watch, and it's definitely one of those Sunday afternoon shows you can just binge if you want to, but also you can watch it on a weekly basis and have a fun time. It doesn't necessarily demand your full attention, but it will reward you if you give it that. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those shows. Again, very easy breezy. So I enjoyed it a lot. John, it seems like you did too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this comes highly recommended. It's a fun time. And if you were into these kind of stories, if you're into these kind of movies, these kind of character dynamics, if you like action, if you like action comedies, buddy cop comedy stuff, then I think this will be up your alley. So you should definitely check it out. John, where is it streaming?
It is streaming on Crunchyroll and their partner platform Verve in a lot of places, actually. Depending on where you live, it's also on Amazon Prime. Like mentioned before, thank you, Kojima. It's, I think, about the only place this show isn't might be Netflix. So it's
not a big loss.
Yeah. So it is an accessible show.
Great. One last side note that I just remembered before I give it over to you for the final words on Lycoris Recoil. More scenes of people sitting on the toilet in this show than I expected. Yeah. I was surprised by that.
I'm thinking about this. You're not wrong.
I'm not. I was surprised. You never see that in anime, especially not with girls.
Yeah.
Like this way. This like just sitting there, obviously taking a dump, probably.
Maybe.
So
don't worry about it.
That was really surprising to me. And I appreciated that the show was going there because you don't really see that in anime. And it's like, these are normal women. Normal women shit. There you go.
Yeah.
It's not all roses and daisies, people.
When they say they're going to water some flowers, what do you think that means?
All right, so wrap this up.
TLDL, the show was great, and it had some really good character writing and some fantastic action, and, you know, those are definitely the strengths of it. Go watch it. It's definitely a breezy watch that's a lot of fun.
And that is a wrap on the 134th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in our show is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jake Kaufman. Please go to virt.bandcamp.com and check out his awesome work. Our show is available on most of the popular podcast services, but it's always worth visiting animebrainfreeze.com for our review index and more. Leave us comments and questions on YouTube, follow us on Twitter @AnyBrainFreeze, or send an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. We would love to read your feedback. Thanks for tuning in, we hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next episode. Macht's gut.
So long, everybody. Next time on Anime Brain Freeze.
A kingdom of dark sorcery and heavy metal.
And glitz, glamour, and brain dances rule the night in a city that never sleeps.